Hello all, welcome back once again to another interesting episode under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav story series by Mommy Star Movies. Today I'm going to talk about a strong lady who has actually started breaking open the glass ceiling in the manufacturing industries and entered into the area domains which are till date unaccessible to the ladies. This happened in the early 19th century when India is actually on the other side fighting for its freedom. The moment I say manufacturing industries, most of us will understand even today how tough it is for women to work in the shop floor. Most of the women who work in the manufacturing industries either work on the in management roles or in the administrative side, but not really on the shop floor, and they don't interact much with the laborers. That is how the working conditions of the manufacturing industries, most of the manufacturing industries are even today. But that is not the case. So with this lady who is fondly called as Motaban by all the laborers in and around Gujarat. Motaban means big sister. She is none other than Anasuya Sarabai. Her full name suggests, she belongs to the wealthiest family of Sarabais from Gujarat. She is born with the proverbial silver spoon in Ahmedabad in the year 1885. Unfortunately, as soon as she is born. She actually had a very blessed childhood. She was getting pampered everywhere by her parents, but unfortunately, her parents passed away when she is of 9 years old. She and her other two siblings were taken care by their maternal uncle. And as per the customs and um, rituals that during that time in the early late 18th and early 19th centuries, um, Anasuya Sarabai was married as a child by the age of 13 years. But she was not that very keen on this marriage, and she was not very happy with this marriage. Luckily, her elder brother Amul Bal actually has helped her come out of this marriage. And after she divorced her husband from this marriage, she wanted to actually move ahead with her life, because staying back in Gujarat was not an option, good option at that point, considering her how dicey and tricky her situation is. So she went for London for higher education, and she joined in the London School of Economics, which was being installed by Beatrice Webb. Most of you who are aware of the British national leaders and social activists would have heard about Beatrice Webb. She is one of the founding members of London School of Economics, and she is an active participant in the Fabian Society, which was founded in London in 1884. This Fabian Society was always working on establishing socialist policies and moving that royal hierarchical rule into more socialistic rule in London at that point of time. Not only that, Anasuya Sarabai also, closely worked with the renowned writer Bernard Shaw and like others who are having more socialistic opinions. And as a part of Fabian Society, she started working on different campaigns like in London, like the right for women to vote, and the healthcare bills for the mill workers in London, and lot more other activities and campaigns. This has given her a new, kind of new exposure in the things that are happening in and around her in London as well as in India. She has totally become a changed person by the time she finished her degree and returned back to India. Considering her earlier work in social activities side, she started working once again on doing a lot of social work from her own house in Gujarat, because and we all know that Ahmedabad is famous for all the textile mills, right? So she first felt that she should address the children of the mill workers, the textile mill workers, who are being left on the streets when both the parents are working in the mills. And she took those children under her wing. She gave them uniform. She gave them food. She started teaching them the basic hygiene, the basic reading and writing habits and stuff like that. After a certain point of time, she realized that the women who are working in all these mills don't even have the basic toilet facilities. So she started using her pocket money to build the toilets for ladies. And while talking to all these ladies, she obviously got to know that these ladies doesn't even have access to hospitals for their child delivery time. So she started building maternity homes for the women. That way, she already started getting more and more popular among the women in from the textile mill workers segment. Uh, and one fine day, her entire thought process, her entire way she was looking at these mill workers as a working class got changed by a chance encounter. One day, when she was sitting on in the veranda on her in the foyer, the front foyer of her bungalow, and she was talking to all these kids, she happened to see some 15, 20 ladies walking very tiredly, dragging their feet, literally dragging their feet on the roads. In front of her bangla. When she called them and asked them what is the matter, why are they looking so tired, and what and where are they going, then these people mentioned to her that, oh sister, we have just completed Didi, they call her Didi or Behan. We have just completed our 36-hour shift in the in the nearby textile mill, and we are going home to take care of her kids. That gave her a real insight as to what are the working conditions, what are the living conditions of these working class people, especially the women in that segment. So she started studying the working conditions. She started understanding how the shop floor is maintained and everything at that point of time. Um, uh, we need to remember this fact here that her elder brother, who has supported her so far in education, her marriage, everything, is having a couple of textile mills in Ahmedabad. So she started studying more and more from her own mills to understand the situations and the pitiable conditions in which these mill workers were living. And that is the time when plague has hit Ahmedabad. That happened in 1917. For your kind information, and similar to how the COVID, how COVID pandemic has hit India or any other country, but recently, in the similar way, when plague has hit Ahmedabad, most of the people were running away from Ahmedabad to their native places to save their lives. Just how we have seen the migration of day laborers and daily wage workers that happened in the initial days of pandemic across India, isn't it? In a similar way, most of the people are running away. So, to keep this workforce intact, the mill workers, mill owners, sorry, had given them a kind of a pandemic allowance, or what do you say, plague allowance, to keep as a carrot, so that these workers can stay back and keep that way their mills can keep working. But everything will come to an end, right? Just like how COVID has come to an end, similar way the plague pandemic also has come to an end. And then what happened here in the modern India today, after the pandemic has ended, the rates of all the essential commodities have risen up, right? And they were not coming down because of so many reasons. You can see about the petrol price, or you can see about the daily groceries, everything, isn't it? In a similar way, at that point of time in 1917, 1918 as well, the rates of all the daily essential commodities have gone up, but the salaries of these mill workers stayed the same. So they are not able to meet their daily expenses, and they are not able to give 4 meals a day to their family members. And the mill workers were put into a very tense situation, or the corner situation, where they were actually getting into the debt trap to feed their entire family members. This is what the situation of Ahmedabad, the working class people in Ahmedabad at that point of time. And Motaben or Ansuya Sarabai was reading them, trying to understand what is the help that these guys need, how she can help them, and all that stuff. That is when, I mean, on the other side, we need to tell you this fact that Gandhiji is a very close friend of Sarabai family, and he was keeping a track of all the things that in social work initiatives, all the research which Ansuya is doing, so that, yeah, if any situation comes, any tricky situation comes, he was able to advise her from the legal standpoint of view. So now, so we need to understand that Gandhiji was also in touch with her through various incidents that were happening during this point of time. Uh, After a certain point of time, these mill workers were not able to really make their ends meet. So they went and approached their favorite motorman for some solution. And they said that, I mean, they wanted, unless the mill owners raise their salary, they will not be able to work in these mills. So what should be the solution? Then Ansuya Sarabai advised these people to go on a strike, putting their demands in front of the mill owners. Even after I mean, we should remember that one of the mill owners with whom she's going to fight on behalf of all these mill workers is none other than her own brother Ambalal. But still, she took this decision and she started encouraging these mill workers to go on a strike. The mill workers have asked for a 50% rise in their salaries so that they can meet their future, growing expenses on a daily basis. But the mill owners have not agreed, and there were a lot of negotiations that happened to and fro, which was not coming to any conclusion. Then Gandhiji has written from Varda a letter to all these mill owners on behalf of the mill workers, saying that they need to consider the current economic conditions and then decide upon raising their salary. And then after Gandhiji's request, these mill owners have agreed to raise the salaries by 20%, which was not acceptable for the mill workers. So mill workers went on a strike and the mills were closed for more than 20 days. Then Gandhiji has once again said that, why don't you go and sit down for more further discussions? But mill owners were not willing to kind of accept Gandhiji's words also at this point of time. So that is the time when Gandhiji had gone on his first hunger strike, fast until death in Gujarat, in Ahmedabad, for the sake of mill workers. Then uh, the, uh, then all the mill workers and Ansuya said that they will also participate in this hunger strike, for which Gandhiji had denied vehemently, saying like this is his support for the mill workers because they are living in such a pitiable condition. Seeing Gandhiji's steadfastness, the mill owners association had come down and agreed for the discussions, and these mill workers were also advised to come down from 50% hike request to little lower, and finally both of them have agreed for 35% hike, which was led to a happy situation, and everybody was happy with this consideration. And people started working back and the textile mill started operating. During all this course of interactions, Gandhiji felt that he is really blessed to have a person like Ansuya with whom he can interact in his life, and he started referring her as a Pujya Bahan. Puja means respected, or the elderly, for elderly person we say Pujya so and so, right? Like that, he was referring Ansuya Sarabai as Pujya Anasuya Sarabai. This is the first time in his in Gandhiji's life, yeah, and maybe and also the last time where he has used the word puja to refer one lady who is little younger to him as well. That shows how strong Ansiya Sarabai is in her determination and her will to help the working class people and make changes in their lifestyle. After this strike, maybe this is the one more this is one of the first kind of incidents where the trade workers had come for a discussion with mill owners, and things have happened in a moved to a happy conclusion, and maybe that is the first time when trade labor union has been formed. So after this incident, the Vazdur Mahasangh of Ahmedabad was formed, which was being led by Anasuya Sarabai, so that this society or the trade textile laborers association can work for the benefit of the textile mill workers, for their health, education, and all the other amenities. And Gandhiji had nominated her, saying that she is the only best possible person who can work as the president till the end of her lifetime. Now we have two people from the same family. One, Ambal Lal, who is working as a mill owners association president, textile mill owners association, and the other lady, his own sister, Ansuya Sarabai, working as the trade union president. So both of them could be at loggerhead, but luckily because of the ingenuity of Ansuya Sarabai, Nothing of that sort happened, and mill owners and the trade unions were both working hand in hand together, and they were coming to. I mean, they're solving most of the problems with negotiations and with discussions. This is the first of its kind in the Indian history, also in the Southeast Asian countries, where trade unions were friends with the management. Normally, that will not happen, right? You can see a lot of strikes that keep happening and all the stuff. Not only that, Ansuya Sarabai started helping Gandhiji in his different campaigns, movements, and she also started working in Vardha Ashramam for some point of the time. During the time when Mazur Mahajan Sangh or the TLA was getting formed, uh, Ansuya Sarabai got a new mentee under her, who is none other than Ila Bhatt, who was just fresh out of the college and wanted to understand how the economics, the marketing, and the trade unions are all working. So she started working as a assistant to Ansuya Sarabai. And during all her work with Ansuya, she understood that there are a lot more problems that are plaguing the individual women and self-employed women, individual women entrepreneurs who are below the, I mean, not the high-end women entrepreneurs, below the normal middle class and below the poverty line entrepreneurs. And that is the reason why she started SEVA, the Self-Employed Women's Association. And we all know where SEVA has reached today. In fact, Ila Bhatt also got Magazine Award for her work in SEVA. So, Ansuya Sarabai's legacy is still continuing in the form of Ila Bhatt. And we all have to accept that Ansuya Sarabai's ideologies, her philosophy has tremendous effect on Elabat as well. So that's all is the story for today, my dear friends. I hope you liked it. A single woman's mindset, her the quick decision making power, and urge to change the situations have actually impacted more than 2 lakh workers from the textile mills, the laborers, which is a very big deal. And unfortunately, all her history was getting tested in the Indian history books, except the references to Ilabat. And I think at least under this Azadi Kamit Mahotsav time, we need to read all these pages of the legends or the inspiring leaders from the Indian history so that we can learn more life lessons from them. So let us meet tomorrow with another interesting story. Till then, bye bye.